Exercise 8.11, annuities. An annuity is a fund where a certain amount of money is invested regularly, often annually, which is where the name comes from, the name annuity, okay, for a number of years. I'm going to show you what annuity is by using a diagram. I think it's better. Certain things that are annuities would be scholarships, okay, so let's say parents decide that they're going to start saving up, like a education fund type thing. Like they might put money in when the child is born, and let's say that's for university. Well, that amount of money will be in there for 18 years. And then let's say on their first birthday, they put more money in. Well, that amount of money will be in there for 17 years if they want to use it when the child is 18. Let's say when they're 2 years old, they put more money in. That amount of money will only be in for 16 years. Does that sort of make sense? Yeah. So, okay, same with superannuation. You know, my employer, for example, puts superannuation in for me. The superannuation that got put in for me 20 years ago, let's say I retire at 60, let's say they put super in for me when I was 30 and I retire at 60. That first amount of money stays in there for 30 years. But let's say the next year they put some money in that only lasts for 29 years. That will compound for 29 years. So what the superannuation is going to be is a series of compound interests added together. Okay, and that's what it's going to be. The first amount that you deposit stays in there longer than the second amount, which stays there longer than the third amount. Okay, so scholarships, trust funds, certain types of insurance and superannuation are examples of annuities. While superannuation and other investments are affected by changes in the economy due to their long-term nature, the amount of interest they earn balances out over the years, okay? But of course we'll use the same interest rate in all of our examples. Now, exercise 8.11, annuities. All right, question 1. Girls, can you write that question down, please? Find the amount of superannuation available at the... Also with annuities, we always look at the end of... Well, sometimes the beginning, sometimes the end. At the end of 20 years, if $500 is invested at the beginning of each year for 20 years and it earns 9% per annum. I will do a diagram of this in a minute, all right? So just write the question down. So I'm drawing this on a bit of a timeline. This is time 0 at the beginning. If you invest here after 1 year, 2 years, so the first investment that you make of $500, that stays in there for 20 years, okay? The second investment is made at the beginning of, or at the end of the first year or the beginning of the second year. It stays in there for 19 years, and so on, but etc. Okay, but what about the investment that gets made here? This is going to be the last investment, and it will stay in for 1 year. Okay, so therefore, how much do we have at the end? So I'm going to call A1 the first amount. I'm going to call this one A1, my first investment, will be 500, 1 plus 9 over 100 to the 20. That's my A1, my first investment. So I'm going to call first investment A1, second investment A2, etc. So first investment A1 is 500, 1.09 to the 20. A2, my second investment, is going to be 500, 1.09 to the... So first investment for 20 years, A2, 19, and ... A... How many investments do I actually make, girls? 19 or... No, I don't. The first investment is at time 0. 20, no, 20. The first investment, look, this is N, this is my first investment, second investment, third investment is on the 2. On the 19 is going to be my 20th investment. Yes. It is. Yeah. Look, 1, 2. So if my first investment is made on 0. So I've got to count from 0 to 19. 19 minus 0 plus 20. So I do make, that is my last investment, is my 20th investment. Because I'm starting counting on 0. 0 is my first investment. 1 is my second investment. 2 is my third investment. So 19 will be my 20th investment. But it stays in there for that. I don't make an investment at the end. So find the amount of superannuation available at the end of 20 years if $500 is invested at the beginning of each year. So we're investing at time 0, not at time 1. Okay? So my 20th investment only stays in there for 1 year. Okay? So therefore, my total superannuation will be the addition of all these. Now, I don't want to put the 20th one first. I mean, I can. So I can go that it's 500, 1.09 to the 20, plus 500, 1.09 to the 19, plus ... 500, 1.09 to the 1. Now, we don't like to write series starting from the biggest term to the smallest term. So I'm going to swap them around. 500, 1.09 to the 1, plus... what would be next? 500, 1.09 to the 2, plus, and I'm just going to put the last one, 500, 1.09 to the 20. Are we okay with that? Because that's from 20 down to 1. But girls, when you do your R's, don't you like, you should start with the smallest one. Otherwise you've got to do R is 1 over. So girls, get it from 1 to 20. No, because what does that grow to? No, this is not, I'm putting $500 in and it's only 500. That first 500 stays in there earning 9% per annum for 20 years, and the first 500 will amount to this. So what this A1 is the amount that the $500 is worth at the end of 20 years. So I'm not doing a sum of series type thing. I am, but I'm doing a sum of compound interests. Okay? So A1 is the amount that the first investment is worth at the end of 20 years. So this is the amount that the first $500 grows to at the end of 20 years. That's why it's called A1. You get the idea? So now, instead of adding them in this reverse order, 500, 1.09 to the 20, 19, all the way down to 1, I swap them around, start at 1, finish at 20. So therefore, this is a geometric series. That's what I'm trying to add with, what's A first term? 500. Yeah, it's not just 500, it's 500, 1.09. What's the R? How do you get from there to there? You times it by 1.09. So I know to do R, it's T2 over T1, or it's just looking, what do I times term 1 by to get term 2? So R is 1.09, and how many terms are there? We're starting with 1 and we're finishing at 20. That's 20 if you're counting on your fingers. Or you do 20 minus 1 plus 1. To find your number of terms, it's the first one minus the last one plus 1. But you don't need to do that if you're starting at 1. If you're starting at 1, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. From 1 to 20 is 20. So it's 20 terms. The total superannuation, I need to add all those up. That's right. So therefore, we want sum of 20. Well, Sn, what's the formula for Sn? Is A, R to the n minus 1 over R minus 1. So I'm summing together 20 of them. A is 500, 1.09 times 1.09 to the 20 minus 1 over R minus 1 is 1.09 minus 1. So, remember the denominator here is just 0.09. I'd be writing that. I wouldn't be putting in divided by bracket 1.09 minus 1. You can if you want. I would just probably enter it like that. But that really is 500 times 1.09 to the 21 minus 500 times 1.09 if you want. So you can just enter that all in now on your calculator. And you will get the sum, that total superannuation, what it's worth. Notice we didn't have to change compounding periods or anything like that. Otherwise, it's all per annum. These should all be per annum, these superannuations. But when we do home loans next lesson, they're all monthly, pretty much. So, all right, what do we get? Okay, so the final amount of this investment is $27,882.27. So $500 was invested for 20 years, so $10,000 was put in altogether. Does that? And you've ended up with $27,000. But of course, you know, $500 with interest of 9% per annum for 20 years grows, doesn't it? So, okay, I'll do some more examples.